The Hanging Hills is a mountainous rock trap looking over the Connecticut town of Meridian. It extends from Long Island Sound to the Connecticut Valley in Massachusetts. It's quite the ecosystem, with rare plant and animal communities, chestnut oak savannas, and its own unique microclimate, thanks to its rock trap terrain. Such a unique place deserves an equally unique ghost story. In the April-June publications of the Connecticut Quarterly, an amateur writer and a geologist, W.H.C. Pynchon, wrote about an encounter with a ghostly apparition resembling a jet-black dog. According to Pynchon, that February, a young geologist and a friend, Herbert Marshall, were conducting geological research on the hills, specifically West Peak, when they saw a small dog. It wasn't the first time the geologist saw the dog, but it was Marshall's second. Why is this important? Because according to legend, if you see the dog once, it will bring joy and good luck. See it twice, it will bring bad luck and a warning. See it 3 times, it will bring death. Shortly after, while scaling the mountain, they saw the dog again. Marshall slipped and fell to his death. When rescuers retrieved the body, they found a black dog looking over it. 6 years later, the unnamed geologist went missing. Despite his encounters with the black dog, he continued his research into the hills, risking a 3rd sighting. Weeks later, his body was found at the base of West Peak. He was the 5th person who have died on the hills in a span of 30 years. Was this real? Was it all coincidence? Or was this just a made-up legend? Yeah, it was made up. Pynchon wrote the story intending it to be fiction, but ghost enthusiasts would later recount the story as real, and substitute the unnamed geologist as Pynchon himself. But a quick Google search of Pynchon's full name, William Harry Pynchon, reveals he died in 1910 of pneumonia, not in the 1990s by falling off a cliff. So the story was made up, but what about the legends themselves? Didn't Pynchon make those up too? Or was the black dog a folktale that Pynchon heard while researching at the Hanging Hills, and decided to write some self-insert fanfiction about it? Pynchon's story is the earliest account of the dog in publication, so that might be the case. However, there have been other stories besides Pynchon's. Another story tells of 2 hikers trailing the hills for a weekend. Come nightfall, a storm raged, but one of the hikers decided to scout out the land anyways, while the other stayed inside a rented house. That night, the hiker saw the dog, though it was friendly and playful. The next day, the hiker saw the dog again, but as they did, the unfortunate witness slipped and fell, breaking his leg. The 2 decided not to test their luck and left the hills. Now, this story might be a made-up legend too. Several websites and books claim that there's a death toll of people who, beforehand, have seen the dog. This might be an exaggeration too. I don't doubt that people have fallen off the steep cliffs of the hills, but like the Pope-like monster, since the death happened in supposed habitat of a monster, people jumped to the conclusion that the cryptid had something to do with it. But so what if the story is fake? It's creepy and original. I mean, how many ghost stories have you heard that's just a desk moving, or subtle drop of temperature but nothing else? At least this story has some meat to it, even if it is made up. Like I said, this place is pretty neat, and a haunting story that's passed down through the ages is just a cherry on top for every hiker's adventure. This has been Cryptid Quest.